Operations on Corpus Christi well fields are set to begin. The memory of a Corpus Christi coach and teacher was honored during a candlelight vigil, and the city of Starbase holds its first public hearing on land annexation. This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday, March 19th. Operations on Corpus Christi well fields will not be cut as a temporary permit has been granted by the state. Corpus Christi Caller-Times reports after city officials had disclosed a potential water emergency beginning in May, one of those factors being curtailment from water drawn from Lake Texana, one of Corpus Christi's water reservoirs 8 miles east of Edna. Governor Greg Abbott's office had directed state agencies to expedite permits and prevent immediate water curtailment for the city. Corpus Christi Mayor Paulette Guajardo told the Caller-Times that the permit will bring additional well production online, with an estimated 5 million gallons per day to help the community's water supply. A 10% curtailment of water from Lake Texana contracted by the city had been expected to go into effect if the lake declined to 50% of its capacity, which, according to officials, may happen next month. Dozens of people gathered Wednesday in Corpus Christi for a candlelight vigil in honor of Veterans Memorial coach Leighton Hernandez. He was killed in a traffic accident last week in Temple.
He was an amazing coach. He was an amazing teacher, equally, and he poured his soul and his life and every ounce of energy that he had into his students and his athletes.
That was Veterans Memorial High School Principal Scott Walker speaking with 3 News. Hernandez coached football and taught biology for Veterans Memorial. He was also the son of Corpus Christi Independent School District Superintendent Dr. Roland Hernandez. The city of Starbase held its first public hearing on Wednesday following its mid-February approval of its intent to annex over 7,000 acres. City officials expect to gather petition signatures from more than 300 landowners in the coming months. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal reports that some of those property owners include the city's namesake, SpaceX, state and federal agencies, and private landowners. Annexation by petition requires 51% of property owners to agree to it. If successful, Starbase would grow from 927 acres to nearly 8,000. A second hearing on the topic is scheduled for August 2nd, and a third one could come as soon as September. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal is in partnership with KEDT. The city of Victoria has named Clay Fetters as its new police chief. He has served as interim chief for several months and has worked with the Victoria Police Department since 2008. Fetters has held several leadership roles with the department, including deputy chief of operations, captain of investigations, SWAT commander, and lieutenant over patrol and support services. 25 News Now reports that he was appointed interim chief last year following the resignation of former chief Chuck Young, who is now a Victoria County deputy. The Rio Grande Valley Business Journal reports that Willacy County leaders have named Oscar Montoya Sr. as director of the Port of Port Mansfield. Montoya's background includes overseeing major public budgets, coordinating hurricane and flood response across Hidalgo County, and managing large investigative teams. His appointment comes as port activity expands across a regional network that includes the Port of Brownsville, Port of Harlingen, and Port of Corpus Christi. KEDT is in partnership with the Rio Grande Valley Business Journal. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the state will stop observing Cesar Chávez Day. As the Texas Newsroom's Lucio Vasquez reports, this follows newly reported allegations against the late labor leader.
The governor says he's directing state agencies to stop recognizing the March 31st holiday. Abbott also plans to push Texas lawmakers to remove the holiday from state law altogether. It's currently designated as an optional holiday by the state. His move comes after a New York Times investigation detailed allegations of sexual abuse involving Chávez during the height of the farm worker movement. Those include claims he abused 2 teenage girls over several years while they were minors. Abbott called the allegations horrific and said they undermine Chávez's legacy. Cities across the state have already canceled Chávez Day events. Some leaders are also raising the possibility of renaming Texas streets that bear his name. I'm Lucio Vasquez in Houston.
Dallas Independent School District is sending thousands of students on the same field trip, and that's never happened before in district history. KERA's Bill Ziebel reports on the new experiment and what the district hopes it means for STEM education.
582 Dallas ISD 4th graders are off the buses this cloudy morning for today's Dallas Arboretum visit. The kids are well prepared. When a group from Layla P. Coward Elementary approaches meat-eating plants, they already know about sundews and pitcher plants. Katie Williams is the Arboretum program teacher.
This one is usually one that people have heard of. Does anyone know what this is called?
Yeah,
right.
It trap mosquitoes?
It can trap mosquitoes. It can trap insects mostly.
If you put your finger, it would like...
No, I wouldn't put your finger in there because it has kind of this nectar stuff that might irritate your skin.
Oh my
Today's group of Dallas fourth graders may be average size by Arboretum standards, but over this semester, every Dallas ISD fourth grader, that's more than 10,200 kids, will visit here. That's not average, says Michelle Broughton. She's the district's deputy chief of academic services who helped orchestrate these trips focused on science, technology, engineering, and math.
STEM is the way of our world. The bigger point here is the curriculum alignment. And so what we want is for what students are learning in the classroom to stick.
Broughton hopes to reach that goal by tying lessons learned on these field trips to those lessons taught in class. It's part of the district's wider goal of unifying curriculum across all of its schools with its many resources. Until now, though, some students haven't been able to visit the Arboretum. Margaret Black with Lyda Hill Philanthropies says for many of these fourth graders, it's their first time here.
I think you have to hope that you're in the right zip code at the right school that happens to have chaperones and all of those things aligned for you. And it was just not happening in an equitable way.
Black is managing director at Lyda Hill Philanthropies. The nonprofit's $250,000 grant made this one semester pilot possible. The money's sending every Dallas first, second, fourth, fifth, and seventh grader to the same age and grade appropriate STEM field trip across Dallas. That's 48,000 students going to places like the Arboretum, Zoo, or the Perot Museum.
We believe science is the answer to solving the most complex problems in this world, and we need the next generation solving those problems.
When the semester ends, Michelle Broughton says the district will study the results to see if the material actually is sticking.
This is a pilot. We just started it at the top of the semester. And so we hope or anticipate that student outcomes will improve, but we have yet to determine that.
Back at the Arboretum, some students have just approached the station about geophytes, including bulbs and tubers.
It's plants that store food or nutrients underground.
Salazar fourth grader Javier Martinez had barely ever heard of any of these plants.
At first, I didn't really know what tubers are until I came here and I started learning more about tubers. That's why I started understanding more that we eat the tubers and that tubers can grow into other things.
Javier stood near Megan Rodesno, who also learned about tubers here.
I learned the nutrients they have and how they grow. I like them because they give good nutrients and they taste good.
If educators get their way, Rodesno and her fellow fourth graders will also develop a deeper taste for learning about science. I'm Bill Ziebel in Dallas.
And in sports, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley women's basketball team will face Austin Peay in the first round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament, and game time is set for 6 p.m. tonight in Tennessee. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.